Hello and welcome, my dear students. In our previous lecture, Basic Economics, we studied about the definition of economics. We learned the various branches of economics. We also talked about the types of economies like primitivism, capitalism, free market economy, command economy, mixed economy. So, in the previous lecture, we left with few topics that we are going to discuss today, and along with that we will also discuss the new topics today. So let us start our work. So in this lecture second so in this lecture 2 of our series, we will first study about what is open economy, what is closed economy, what is socialism, what is communism या communism किसको बोलते हैं वो भी हम इसमें पढ़ेंगे. And we will also study the various other topics. Let us first clear these topics. So when we talk about open economy means when, for example, there is a country A. This country has its territorial borders, so these are the borders of this country. When the borders of any country are open means we can easily import and we can easily export the things into a country or outside the country. So when there is the option of export and import, when there is an option of export or import, we say that this economy or this country is open economy. So open economy, there is foreign trade. In open economy there is foreign trade, there is import and there is export. So there is import and export in this open economy. So why there is import and export? Because in the open economy there is the market driven economy, so there is foreign investment, so that is why there is import export. And then we have another that is called the closed economy. So in closed economy what happen is that in closed economy the borders of country, for example this is a country B, its borders are sealed. Border seal does not mean that physically they are sealed, but it means that there is no or least import export carried out by that country. So export and import are it is very less or it is not at all available in this country. For example, if you see the various types of open economies, if you see India, we are open economy. We have the open economy USA, UK, Australia. So these all countries, India, USA, UK, Australia, these all countries are open economies because there is huge export import carried out by these countries. Now this country B, for example, if we talk about China, or we will talk about Iran. So if we see the Iran is a closed economy. Why? Because they produce all things within their territorial borders. They produce all things within territorial borders. सो अपनी ही कंट्री में वो सारा कुछ प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड द क्लोज्ड इकानमी. और जो भी क्लोज्ड इकानमी होती हैं, इट इज़ नेसेसरी फॉर देम टू प्रोड्यूस ऑल द बेसिक नीड्स विद इन देयर ओन कंट्री, अदरवाइज इट विल काज प्रॉब्लम इन देयर सर्वाइवल आर सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग. Now we will study about the other concepts, like we will study about socialism. So what is socialism? If we see the socialism, it is a type of command economy. हमें याद रखना है टाइप ऑफ कमांड इकानमी है। क्यों है कमांड इकानमी? क्योंकि अगर हम वर्ड सोशलिज्म पे ही जाएंगे, सोशलिज्म मीन्स देयर इज़ इंडल्जेंस और देयर इज़ involvement of society. So society, the picture of society came into being. So we can see in socialism there is involvement of society, there is interference of society, so it is a type of command economy. Why there is a command economy? Because here also the society owns the resources. Society collectively own resources. Society collectively own resources. Now we will discuss one thing, that what are resources and why we need resources. See, these resources, these are the inputs of any economy. Why? Because whenever we have resources, these resources are limited, but at the same time our desires, our needs, the needs of people are unlimited. So when our needs are unlimited but resources are limited, what we have to do? For example, if I want to buy a t-shirt that costs 200 rupees. So there is a t-shirt that costs 200 rupees to me, okay, and I want to buy also a pair of pants. So I want to buy a pair of pants and it costs 400 rupees. So the sum total will be 600 rupees, but I am only having 400 rupees in my pocket, so I am short of 200 rupees, okay. So I have to make the choice. So whenever there comes the choice, so we say that is economy. उसी को हम बोलते हैं economy. So economy की basic definition आप समझ आई, that we have to make the choices. For example, our resources are limited but our needs are unlimited. So in order to counterfeit the unlimited resources, this unlimited needs, we have to balance, we have to make choices, we have to make the decisions whether to buy, we have to buy one object at the cost of other, or we have to make our choices very limited. So this was all about the resources. It came in between, so I tried to make it easy for you. Now let us study about the socialism. So society collectively own the resources. It is a type of command economy. Whenever there is a command economy, means there is a central planner. So in socialism there is also a central planner. Individual choices are less. But if we see this socialism, it takes into consideration the welfare of society. So if we see in capitalism, there was no concept of welfare but wealth creation, profit. So in capitalism there is welfare. There is no concept of welfare, there is wealth creation. So there is wealth creation, profit driven, profit loss, free market, that is capitalism. But in socialism, welfare of society is taken into consideration. So it is a type of command economy. And if you see in this socialism or in this system, the factors of production means the inputs of economy. Inputs, what are the inputs? For example, what are inputs? That is land, second is labor, third is capital. These are also called, so inputs means what we will invest and what we will earn, what we will invest, that is called input, and what we will gain, that is called output. So if we see the inputs of any economy, that is land, labor and capital. So this land, labor and capital, they are also called as factors of production. These are called factors of production. Why they are called factors of production? Because these are utilized in the production of final goods and final goods. So final goods and services, these become the output of economy. So final goods and services are output of economy. So they came from the inputs are land, labor and capital. And there is also entrepreneurship. Why? Because entrepreneur comes with the idea, then he utilizes his idea into the factors of production like land, and he also at the same time he uses the labor, he uses the capital in order to in order to in order to produce the various goods and services. So this was the socialism. So in socialism, it is a type of command economy. Society collectively own resources, the society is central planner, individual choices become less, but it works for the welfare of society. It works for the welfare of society. This was all about the socialism. Now let us move to the other topic, that is communism. Communism. So what is communism? Communism is a type of socialism. It is a type of socialism. But in communism, there is the complete communists are the communism. In communism, there is complete and violent overthrow of capitalism. Overthrow of capitalism. So they discourage communism. The concept of communism, it completely discourages the capitalism. Why it discourages the capitalism? Because it believes in the central planning. It also in communism there is a central planner, and this central planner is having authority over factors of production, that is land, labor and capital. So here if we see in communism, there is violent overthrow of the capitalism. They don't believe in capitalism at all, and they discourage the capitalism. So we can say there will be less competition among the firms or among the companies. So when there is less competition, what will happen? There will be less choices to the consumer. So when there are less choices to consumer, what will happen? Price rise occurs. There will be price rise. Okay, so prices will increase. So what will ultimately it will cause? Ultimately it will be disadvantageous for common man. So it will be disadvantageous for common man. And this communism, it is also not profit driven. It is not profit driven. This was all about the communism. And communism, we know communism exists. It exists in former Soviet Union. In China, communism is there. China and Cuba. So these are the three countries where this was the former Soviet Union, then China and Cuba. These are the recent. So in these countries, the communism still exists. Now let us move to our next topic, that is the classification of economies based classification of the countries based on the economic activity. So now we will study about the classification of the economies or countries based on the economic activity. Classification of countries based on economic activities. So if we see on the basis of economic activities, the countries are classified into three main categories. That is, first, developed countries, second, developing countries, and third is the least developed country. Least developing country. So least developed country. So on the how we define the development, we know that development, it is measured by various standards. For example, what is the economic stability of a country? Economic stability of country. Second, what is the income of that country? Third, what is the standard of living? Fourth, what is infrastructure? So in developed countries, the economic stability is maximum. Income is very high. Standard of living is very high. Standard of living means health, sanitization, education. In these sectors there is high standard, so standard of living is high. Infrastructure is there, maximum infrastructure, or we can say developed infrastructure is in developing countries. Developed countries we know. Now in developing countries, these measures of development, that is economic stability, income, standard of living, and infrastructure, it is low. And in least developed countries, these and in this we also measure the human development index. So we will study about these indices or reports. We will study about it, and every factor or index of that is associated with the economy. So there is a human development index. So the human development index remains low in developing countries, and it is very, very low. That is, it is very, very low in least developed country. So it is very, very low in least developed country. So in least developed countries, their economic stability, there will be no economic stability. Income will be low, standard of living will be low, investments will be low, savings will be low, and infrastructure will be having the least infrastructure. So this was on the basis of economic activities. No classification of countries on the basis of no, there is also classification. The countries have been classified by the World Bank report, that is called World Bank Development Report. So we know there is a World Bank releases a annual document. That annual document is called World Development Report. So in this world development, on the basis of this World Development Report, released by the World Bank, the countries have been classified into first. If we see, there are four types of countries, like high income countries, high income countries. Second, there is upper middle income country, middle income countries. Third, lower middle income countries. And there is low income countries. So what is the basis of this classification? If we see the high income countries, their so it is based on, this World Development Report is based on per capita income. So many students may ask, what is this per capita income? Per capita income means कि हमारे कंट्री का टोटल नेशनल इनकम कितना है. सो मेरी कंट्री का नेशनल इनकम कितना है, नेशनल इनकम, उसको अगर हम पॉपुलेशन में डिवाइड करेंगे, सो टोटल पॉपुलेशन उसमें हम डिवाइड करेंगे, तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि एक पर्सन का इनकम कितना है. द इनकम ऑफ वन पर्सन, दैट बिकम्स पर कैपिटा इनकम, पर हेड इनकम. एक हेड पे कितना इनकम है, एक मेंबर पे कितना इनकम है, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड पर कैपिटा इनकम. सो हम याद रखना है कि जो वर्ल्ड बैंक जो रिपोर्ट रिलीज़ करता है, दैट इज़ वर्ल्ड डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट, दैट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन पर कैपिटा इनकम, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट पर कैपिटा इनकम द कंट्रीज हैव बीन डिवाइडेड इनटू हाई इनकम कंट्रीज, अपर मिडल कंट्री, लोअर मिडल कंट्रीज, अपर मिडल इनकम कंट्रीज. So upper middle income, okay, so it's income and low income countries. So what is the value of per capita income for high income countries? It is in between, it is always in dollars, because international transactions are done in dollars. That is $12,055 or more. अगर पर कैपिटा इनकम 12,055 रुपये हैं या उससे ज़्यादा हैं, देन इट इज़ हाई इनकम कंट्री. अगर पर कैपिटा इनकम इज़ 900, it is 3,895 to 12,055 then we say it is upper middle income country. Lower middle income country means when the per capita income is between $996 to $3,895, okay, and then we say low income countries. If per capita income is $995 or less, then it is low income country. So this was all about the classification of countries based on the World Bank report, which is based on the per capita income. I think it is clear to all. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the sectors of economy. What are the various sectors of economy, what is their contribution, and why India is lacking in few sectors? So we will study in this topic. So let us move to the sectors of economy. So let us first see what is sector. For example, I have this much of land, okay, this is the land that is possessed by me. Now this land I say is marked by A, B, C, D. This is my land. So if this land is 1 acre, so I will divide it into 4 sections, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 sections, if we see separately, they become components of this land. So it is a sector of this area. So sector. but it is not overall economy, it is only one sector. This is second sector, this is third sector of this land, and fourth sector. So when all these sectors they are combined, then we will get the accurate or exact value of this entire land. So section of land we can say that it becomes the sector. No, in the same way in economy there are also sectors, there are also various other, the areas. There are different areas which we study, which are to be taken into consideration while we will study economy of any country. For example, let us study the sectors of economy. So let's start. There are usually, if we see broadly, there are three sectors, that is primary sector, that is 1 degree. Then there is secondary sector, that is 2 degree. And then there is tertiary sector, that is 3 degree. These are the main three sectors: the primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Now what is primary sector? We know that primary sector, whenever we have to produce, for example, just take this example, we have to produce a product a product, we have to produce it. So whenever we have to produce this product A, what we will do, we need first the raw materials. Okay, we need the raw materials for this product A. After we get the raw materials, we need to process those raw materials, in factory or in manufacturing unit. So in factory, after processing there will be packaging, after packaging there will be marketing or transportation, after transporting there will be marketing, after marketing it will reach to consumer. Okay, it will reach to consumer as a finished good. So if we see from the point of production till the consumer point, that is till the finished good, there are various processes involved. These different processes become the different sectors of economy. So the primary sector usually deals with the raw materials. So primary sector is that sector of economy which deals with extraction of raw material, So if we see this extraction of raw material, so examples will be, what will be the examples? Example will be there is mining activity, because extraction means mining activities. Second, if we see fishing, if we see the best example of primary sector is agriculture, land. Okay, we sow something, then we harvest that thing, that is the primary sector, agriculture. And what is the contribution of primary sector towards the India's GDP? If we see in 2019, the contribution of primary sector towards GDP, towards India's GDP, was almost 15.96%. Now we will see what is the dependency. The dependency is in agriculture, because India is an agrarian economy, so dependency is 65 to 70%. So if we see, our most of the workforce is in agriculture, but contribution is low. That is why India is still trapped in low income economies. Now let's move to the secondary sector. The secondary sector, it deals with the manufacturing process. It is concerned with the production of finished goods. So secondary sector is called manufacturing sector, or manufacturing sector. In secondary sector, what we do is that finished goods are produced. गुड्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड। सो यहाँ पे क्या बनते हैं, फिनिश्ड गुड्स। सो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में फिनिश्ड गुड्स हम करते हैं। तो इस सेक्टर में क्या क्या आता है, मेन थिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव कार फैक्ट्री। एग्जांपल्स, if we see construction activities, construction, okay, any construction activity, utilities, utilities means consumption के लिए, that is gas, water, electricity, these all come in secondary sector. And for example there is car factory, that is also manufacturing sector. There is brewing industry, that is also a secondary sector. And there is flour mill. Flour mill also comes under secondary. Flour mill also comes under secondary sector. Okay, this is manufacturing sector. And if you see the manufacturing sector contribution of manufacturing sector in India's GDP, what was its contribution in 2019? To 9.6%, that is 29.6%. So then there is another sector that is called the tertiary sector. In tertiary sector, this is the service sector. So it is called service sector. So what is good and what is service? So first let us finish this. Goods and services. We always say what is goods, what is service. See, goods are physical objects, and services are the work provided, work are objects which are provided to consumer, the services. For example, car repairing, or we can say laptop repairing. This all come, IT, information technology, communication, these come into the service sector because they produce the services are being produced. So primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, that is service sector. And इस सर्विस सेक्टर में क्या होता है कि it include the aspects of retail. For example, retail is there, retail services are there, hospital, all the leisure activities, information technology. So service sector, if we see examples, it will include the retail, it will include retailing of the products, it will include tourism, is there, it will include IT, that is information technology, it will also include real estate, it will include financial services, that is banking services, it will also, the restaurants, tourism, whatever there is associated with tourism, that is restaurants and all. So that comes under the service sector because for money we get the services from these services in tourism and all. This is called the tertiary sector. And after this tertiary sector there are two more sectors of the economy as well that we will study, that is quaternary sector, QUATER, quaternary sector. So this quaternary sector, it is information, or what we can say intellectual or knowledge based economy. It is knowledge or intellectual based economy, that is these are high collar jobs, white collar jobs means decision making is done in quaternary sector. Okay, decision making is in quaternary sector. No, sorry, there is no decision making here. If we see, these are high collar jobs, these knowledge based, research and development. So research and development, R&D, research and development comes in quaternary sector. So R&D, research and development comes in quaternary sector. And there is also, let's rub this, there is culinary sector. Culinary sector. So this culinary sector, in this sector, high level decisions are taken. High level top decisions. High level top decision are made. Okay, high level top decisions are made in culinary sector. So what are the various examples of culinary sector? It will include government. Why government? Because government passes legislation, or government passes the laws or legislation or acts. Okay, so it is a top decision making, that is culinary sector. It also comprise top decision makers in industry. So industry में कोई top decision making job होगा, वो भी आएगा culinary sector में. और इसी तरह कॉमर्स में भी हम देखेंगे यही सेम. And also in education sector, top level decisions are being taken in the culinary sector. So culinary sector involves high level top decision making personalities. Like government will be included because government passes the legislation. There will be industry, there will be education sector. So this was the main classification of the different sectors of economy. So we will also study one more sector, that is public versus private sector. So what is public and what is private sector? Public versus private sector. Okay, so if we see the public sector, in public sector the government is concerned with the services like health, education, and so in public sector government is concerned with services like health, education. And in public sector government own resources. So we have to keep this thing in mind. Government own resources means key industries like coal, etc., coal mines, etc., hydroelectric power projects. Key sectors are under government's control in public sectors. And in private sector we had already studied about. In private sector government is least concerned, so it is the private players provide services. Why this? Because they own the resources. And private sector is free market economy. So free market is there. So we can say that private sector is operated by individuals and businessmen, and government, we know it is operated by public indirectly through their representatives. So this was all about the sectors of economy and what are the other sectors of economy as well. So now we left with the two, in present contemporary times the two other sectors have emerged, that is means the difference between the two sectors, that is becomes very essential, that is traditional economy and digital economy. So what is traditional and what is digital economy? Most of times we come across these terms, what is traditional economy, what is digital economy. So if we see simple definition, or simply, because we are here, I am here to simplify as much as I can. So if we see in traditional methods are used, that is the factories में इस काम किया जाता है in traditional. But if we see in digital economy we have data centers. So data is mined from these data centers. Okay, data is first stored in these data centers, then whenever any person needs the data, he will go and he will extract the data from there. And if we see in traditional economy, there was high street shops, street shops. Means through these shops people used to trade, people used to buy or sell their objects. But if we see in digital economy, there is internet. Okay, the high street shops has been replaced by internet because all the trade takes place on internet in digital economy. Earlier, if we see, there used to be advertisements through newspaper advertisements. Okay, so advertisements in traditional economy. But if we see in digital economy, it has completely changed because there is no social media. Okay, social media replaces the newspaper ads. In traditional economy, if we see, there was transportation. But now in digital economy we have e-sales, means electronic sales. In this system there was banking, but it was cashed economy, we can say. But here we have e-commerce. Okay, we have e-banking, cashless economy, that is digital economy is cashless economy. In the same way, if we see in traditional economy, we used to have the physical assets, but now you need to have the google website, you need to have the domain. These are the all digital terms. So e-payment and all these come under digital. So if we see broadly, the traditional economy was much very primitive. Factories were used, high street shops were used, newspaper ads was used for for the marketing, for transporting the objects from one place, means transportation was banking, was cashed economy, means there were checks and cash was given, and physical assets were taken into consideration. But in digital economy now there are data centers, internet is widely used, social media is used for marketing, there are e-sales, there is e-commerce, there is e-banking, means cashless economy. Now the assets are there. If any person possesses google website or domain address, we can say that in digital economy he is a wealthy person. So this was all about the different and other sectors of economy other than primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary and quinary sector. So this completes the first chapter of the basic economics for the UPSC, and hope you guys are you like this series, you like the lectures that I am uploading. And in coming lecture, that is the lecture number 3, we are going to discuss the broad concepts of economy. We will study about the inflation and how inflation keeps what are the types of inflation, what is inflation, what are the causes of inflation, what is the impact of inflation, how to measure inflation. All these concepts will be taken into consideration in the next series or in the next lecture. So hope you please, if you like the video, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell and share. Thank you so much. So in lecture 3 will be uploaded tomorrow, anytime tomorrow lecture 3 will be uploaded and its topic will be